Headaches and migraines have been kind of on my mind here. I had gotten some new furniture for my office, so I had to clean out the old stuff, of course. And I found two very old, very expired bottles of headache medicine because I used to suffer a lot of headaches. I used to get 4 to 5 migraines per week. And I got to thinking about some of the approaches that I use and what's really worked for me and what's worked for a lot of my patients to help them get rid of their headaches and migraines. So I thought I'd talk about a little combination that I like to use, which is probably the most common herbal formula or herbal combination that I will use for my headache and migraine sufferers. First and foremost, I always address the neck. I mean, in modern society, we're staring down at a phone, we're hunched over a computer, and this changes the angle of our head relative to our neck, which means that we're putting an increased strain on the muscles of our neck, and this contributes to a lot of tension here, and of course, can contribute to headaches and migraines. So the first combination that I add in there is a combination of Gěgēn and Qiānghuó. This is Pueraria and Notopterygium, which is a very strange word to say. But this particular combination of herbs works very well on improving circulation through the cervical and thoracic spine and helps in really loosening and softening those muscles, which aids in regulating blood flow into the head, which is instrumental in my experience to dealing with headaches and migraine. I don't know that I've met many headache or migraine sufferers that don't have a neck component with their headache. So first and foremost, I always add those. Not only that, but there's pretty good research on them showing that they work very well with different types of headaches as well, especially occipital type headaches. I add another combination of Bupleurum and white peony root. This is Bai Xiao and Qiānghuó, and this is an extraordinarily common combination found in Chinese medicine in formulas like Xiaoyousan and Jiaowei Xiaoyousan, which is actually a great antidepressant herbal combination, but it's also very anti-inflammatory in that Bai Xiao, that white peony root, works in some ways almost similar to like magnesium. It has a very nice softening effect on muscular tension, but I use it very frequently for things like muscular spasms and cramps. It's nice and anti-inflammatory. It also has this nice effect to scavenge pockets of nitric oxide, which is a pretty big problem for a lot of us. You know, we learn a lot about nitric oxide and the importance of nitric oxide and with modern supplementation and whatnot. But what can happen is nitric oxide can collect in pockets, and when it collects in too much like this, it's actually inflammatory. So it can cause muscular tension, it can cause burning type pains, it can actually have nerve inflammation. So white peony root is found to actually scavenge these pockets and sort of smooth them out. So it's a very beneficial herb in this way. And then another pairing that works well with that Qiānghuó that I add in there is Scutellaria. This is Huang Qin. This is a pretty popular herb these days as well. And that combination of Qiānghuó and Huang Qin is actually found in one of the most common formulas in the world called Xiao Cai Hu Tang. This is used to address retained pathogens in the body. Both of these herbs have broad spectrum antimicrobial effects. They have broad spectrum anti-inflammatory effects. Not only that, but the Scutellaria has a good bit of berberine in it, which is helpful in dealing with things like biofilms in the body, which leads to retained infection, recurrent flare-ups or episodes of recurrent infection. Chronic sinus infection is a big one that plays into chronic headaches like this. Not only that, but Scutellaria from a Chinese medicine standpoint also has a yang anchoring characteristic to it. So it's very commonly used in formulas where we're dealing with headaches, migraines, or even blood pressure issues. The last herb that I really like to make mention of here is Angelica. This is Bai Zhi, and this is a very commonly used herb for headaches, especially frontal type headaches, but it's also used for sort of sharp and pinpoint type pains, which very frequently happens with migraines. It did with me, and the migraines I would end up right there. I use this herb for any variety of facial type issues, pains, or headaches, but I also use it for things like kidney stones, where you might have a stone that's lodged in the ureter and it's causing this very specific pain that's excruciating. This herb works very well for that. This is the basic combination that I took, of course, with a few digestive aids and a few other additions for my particular constitution. It worked very well. I don't know the last time that I actually suffered a headache. Obviously, I threw away several bottles of expired headache medicine for that, but this is generally what I will use for most of my headache and migraine sufferers, simply because it works so well and it has nice long-term effects. So even when I pull it back, people are still doing well after the fact.